You know, most of us don't think about safety until it's too late. Why do I say that? Well, many people have ignored safety through the years, and what's happened to them? Well, it's cost them accidents, their health, their business, huge financial losses, and on top of it, in some cases, people have actually even died. So it's really important to make sure that you have a safety protocol for your business, and you want to have it posted for your employees, and you want to pay special attention to it to make sure that you implement it along with it. All right, go ahead and take a look with me now as we walk throughout my day. I'm going to show you 8 areas where it's really important to observe safety. Remember, this is not the end all. You want to make sure you pay attention to Truck Mount Forums, to the manufacturer's guides, and follow all those when it comes to implementing safety. Let's take a look now. Okay, the first area of concern is the truck, especially the engine and the tires and things of that nature. Every day before a technician leaves the shop, he's required to go through his truck completely, make sure his tires are in good shape, make sure the air pressure is correct. Remember, you're carrying around thousands of pounds of machinery, equipment, and sometimes water, and you want to make sure that those tires are in really good shape. Last thing you want is a blowout or low air pressure while you're driving down the street. Number 2, we check all the vital fluids. We like to make sure the oil and the radiator fluid is filled correctly. If not, you're going to run into problems where you're going to have catastrophic engine failure, and that's the last thing you want, another high repair bill. Okay, after you check the truck out thoroughly, you move on to the next area of concern. That's the machine. Let's take a look at number 2. All right, the second area of concern is truck mount or your equipment. Whatever you have inside there, you want to make sure that it's secured well. And as a matter of fact, whenever you had the truck mount installed, hopefully it was installed correctly, it has good strong brackets, and that it'll hold. You want to make sure everything is secured, because if not, if you get into an accident, you've got thousands of pounds of equipment, or a rotary tool or a wand or something of that nature can fly forward, hit you, knock you out, or even kill you or do some damage to your equipment and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that's all secured real well. Then after that, you want to make sure you have a good fire extinguisher. You want to check all your wires and all your hoses and your fuel lines. You want to make sure they're all in good shape. You want to make sure you don't smell any odors, especially like gas or something of that nature. You want to make sure your oil and your antifreeze is full also. Again, you want to worry about catastrophic engine failure if you don't have these up to date and filled up properly. Okay, that's number 2. Let's move on now to number 3. Okay, the third area of concern is driving. You want to make sure that when you're driving, you're not texting, you're not making phone calls, and not adjusting your GPS. Make sure you do those things all ahead of time. And if you're running late to a customer, don't rush to try to make up time. Call the customer, give them a courtesy call. If you give them those calls, generally they don't mind. All right? It's better than getting into an accident. However, if you do get into an accident, make sure you have your safety data sheets, your license, insurance, and registration ready to go. Make sure you contact your employer. Make sure that you fill out a police report and you go through all that. And on top of it, make sure you're wearing your safety belt. Okay, I have a friend who's a captain in the fire department for over 20-some years, and he says he's never unbuckled a dead person. That's a strong point. Okay, that basically covers everything for driving. Let's move on to the next point. Number 4 is carbon monoxide poisoning. And this is probably the biggest area of concern. Why do I say that? It's because sadly many have gotten sick, and many have actually even died from carbon monoxide poisoning. By pulling their truck into a garage, letting the machine run, or by parking too close to a home or a business, fatalities have occurred. This has happened to people who have lived in the house and also to carpet cleaners. So make sure you park a safe distance away, you check the wind flow, and that you have signs on your truck to let your technicians know. We keep these on there: carbon monoxide, caution, area requires proper ventilation. Then we have another sign here that shows all the symptoms of what might be happening, so you can take proper precautions. Lastly, we like to keep a clip on our belt where it has a carbon monoxide tester, or we take one and plug it inside of a home. But if you lose power, you need a battery operated one. Okay, well, that covers it for carbon monoxide poisoning. Please remember to use extreme care when using your equipment around homes and businesses. Let's move on to the next point now. Number 5 is slip and fall. This is a very important one because of the liability issues. There's been many cleaners throughout the years who have been sued because they did not warn their clients or have them sign off on a safety sheet. As a matter of fact, every one of our clients are required to sign this form before we start cleaning. Because why? Because you have transitions like this, where you have a carpet that can be damp, where you pre-sprayed it or cleaned it, and they walk onto a hard surface and they slip and fall. So you want to avoid this liability, and you can do many things besides this. You can also put up a sign letting people know. You can warn them, warn everybody inside of the home, and also put up some signs around your truck and around your hoses. Okay, well that covers slip and fall. Let's move on to the next point. Number 6 is chemicals and sprayers. Now, why is this important? Well, I've noticed a lot of cleaners will actually mix their products inside of a home, and they'll leave the jug sitting on the counter, or they'll put it by the door. Not a good idea. A child could actually ingest this, or a pet, and you could have all kinds of problems after that. So make sure you mix your products out at your truck. Now, if you do, I like wearing gloves. I like to keep a disposable respirator and some eye goggles along with it. Mix your products out here. Now, there's some products you never want to mix together, like bleaches and ammonia. You never want to mix reducers with oxidizers and other products. Rather than playing chemist, I highly recommend just getting the product that's made for the application throughout the industry. That's the best way to go about doing it. No need to try to play chemist. All right, now when it comes to sprayers, I like to take and, after pumping them up and after I've used them for the day, sprays like this, I like to release the pressure by turning them upside down. Then you pop the top off, you don't have to worry about it hitting you in the chin, something of that nature. All right. Number 2 is, when you're using powdered peroxides, be careful. I like to pre-mix them ahead of time, because if you don't, you put them directly inside the sprayer with some hot water, you're going to blow the sprayer up and you can blow the top off, hit you, and cause a safety accident. Well, that covers it for sprayers and chemicals. Let's move on to the next point. All right, number 7 is hoses, namely vacuum hoses and solution lines. With the advent of stronger equipment these days, especially truck mounts, you're moving a lot more lift and a lot more CFMs, and you can have a clear and present danger if you leave this down on the ground, go outside, start your truck mount up, and then bring your wand in. Rather do it just the opposite. Go out and get your wand, come in, hook up your vacuum line, go ahead and lay this down, not against the wall, because you don't want to scratch a wall, break a painting or a pot or a plant or something of that nature. Rather lay it out of the way so nobody can trip over it either. Go outside, start truck mount up, and then come in and start cleaning. Now, when it comes to solution lines, you want to keep an eye on these, because you can have what's called black death, we call in the industry. That's where a hose breaks and the black debris on the inside of the hose shoots out everywhere, and you have a mess. You can damage some fine furnishings, and plus you get a couple hundred degrees of hot temperature. Not good, not a positive moment of truth. Make sure you keep those changed regularly. Also, it's a good idea to have a good safety quick disconnect so you don't burn your fingers. You want to have a safety hose hook also for your stairs. That way you hook it up to your hose, and you don't have to worry about the hose flying down the steps, hitting someone, or messing up furnishings again. A couple other things. It's a good idea to have a cover for your quick disconnects if you're running 50-foot sections inside of a home. That way a child doesn't pick it up, burn themselves, and it doesn't scratch floors either. Lastly, when it comes to your back, if you've got to move heavy furniture like a bed or something of that nature, put some skidders under the legs and then push it out of the way. That way you don't hurt your back. Well, that basically covers it for the vacuum. Make sure you're always cognizant of where your vacuum hose is, because some people have injured their eyes, especially children, and also pets have expired from hoses being neglected. So make sure you keep a close eye on those. Let's move on to the next point. Number 8 is proper disposal of your wastewater. I know some cleaners will take and just open the valve, let it run right out into the street along the curb, and it ends up where? In the city drains, and then ends up inside of public lakes and streams. That's not good. You want to make sure that you take and put it into a proper receptacle. The proper place is always the sewage system, and most houses have a clean out system. So you just take the cap off, put the hose in there, and let it go right inside there. As last resort, you can put it into the toilet, or make sure you take to an approved facility. Now, make sure you check all your local zoning laws, and that way you make sure you dump properly, you protect the environment, you protect your business from getting fined. All right, let's go ahead and conclude. All right, well that concludes my work day. I hope you enjoyed this information about basic safety. It covered a lot of areas and keep you out of a lot of trouble and keep you and your customers and the public from harm. Now, there are other types of machines, there's other types of equipment, and there's other types of services that we offer. So just a couple little tips I'd like to mention here at the end. If you have a direct drive, make sure that you have it in park before you go over and turn the machine up so it doesn't run into a garage like's happened to some cleaners. If you've got an oil burner or a propane machine, make sure the burners are in good condition, make sure you don't smell any odors, and definitely don't smoke around it. It's also a good idea to wear hearing protection. Lastly, if there's someone underage at the home, make sure there's somebody at least 18 years or older before you go there. And never ever cross the professional lines with someone of the opposite sex. With that all being said, if you would join our YouTube channel, we truly appreciate it. On top of, if you join Truck Mount Forums, any questions that you have, whether it's regarding safety, cleaning, marketing, anything, we can give you an answer just like that. Well, I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums. Have yourself a great day.